begin? I never imagined that a single moment could unravel everything I believed in. But that night, standing in our bedroom, holding the damning evidence in my trembling hands, I realized my world had just collapsed. I had just returned from a late shift, exhausted, hoping to crawl into bed beside my wife, Vanessa. Instead, I found her suitcase half-packed on the bed. It wasn't the suitcase that stopped me in my tracks. It was what I found inside. A silky red lingerie set, one she had never worn for me, and beside it a box of oversized condoms. My chest tightened as an icy wave of realization crashed over me. Vanessa, standing at the mirror, casually applying lipstick, barely spared me a glance. "Vanessa," I said, my voice cracking. "What the hell is this?" She sighed dramatically, rolling her eyes in the mirror. "Oh, come on, Aaron. Don't be so dramatic." "Dramatic?" My pulse pounded as I gripped the lingerie tighter. "You've never worn this for me," I whispered, my voice edged with something dangerously close to breaking. I grabbed the box and tossed it onto the bed. "And this? You think I'm stupid?" Finally, she turned to face me, completely unfazed. "It's for work," she said smoothly, arms crossing over her chest. "I have a conference this weekend." "A conference," I repeated, voice laced with disbelief. "With condoms and lingerie?" She scoffed, shaking her head. "You're reading too much into this." But then, her phone buzzed on the dresser. The screen lit up, and in bold letters, I saw the message that turned my stomach into a pit of fire. "Mr. Blackwood, can't wait to see you tonight." I snatched her phone before she could react, holding it up. "Who the hell is Mr. Blackwood, Vanessa?" She barely blinked. Instead, she smirked. "Oh, Aaron, please," she said with a bored tone. "You wouldn't even be able to handle the truth if I told you." Her arrogance sent my fury skyrocketing. "Try me," I growled. She stepped closer, her perfume intoxicating, but this time it didn't pull me in. It made me sick. "I don't belong to you," she whispered. "I can do whatever I want." And then, the final nail in my heart. She tilted her head and whispered, "My lover is waiting for me outside." Something inside me snapped. I stepped closer, my jaw clenched so tightly it hurt. "You think you can just walk out of here and throw this in my face?" My voice was dangerously low. Vanessa rolled her eyes, reaching for her suitcase. "Watch me." Just as she gripped the handle, I grabbed her wrist, yanking her back with force. The suitcase hit the floor, and for the first time, she looked genuinely surprised. "What the hell, Aaron?" "Let go of me," she snapped, struggling against my grip. I stared at her, my breathing ragged. This wasn't the woman I married. That woman was gone, replaced by someone who had shattered everything we built together. I let go of her wrist, stepping back. But now, I wasn't just a heartbroken husband. I was a man with a plan. She thought she could betray me? She thought she could walk away without consequences? She was dead wrong. As Vanessa strutted out the door, her heels clicking against the pavement, I stood there motionless, but my mind was anything but still. Revenge. The word burned into my brain. I grabbed my phone and dialed the one person who could help me expose her for who she truly was. "Caleb, I need a favor," I said the moment he answered. My best friend hesitated. "Aaron, you sound off. What's going on?" "She's cheating on me," I said flatly. "And I need proof." A long pause. "Damn. I'm sorry, man." "I don't need apologies," I interrupted. "I need everything. Texts, emails, locations. Find out who this guy is. I want to ruin them both." Caleb exhaled sharply. "Are you sure you want to go down this road?" I was sure. Because Vanessa thought she could humiliate me? She had no idea what was coming. 2 days later, Caleb sent me a file that shattered me all over again. Texts, hotel reservations, photos. She had been sneaking around for over 6 months. And her lover? Isaac Blackwood, a senior executive at her company, a married man, a father. Oh, this was perfect. She wasn't just cheating. She was having an affair with a man whose entire life could be destroyed. And that's exactly what I planned to do. I wasn't going to just expose them. I was going to burn everything down. I spent the next week laying the groundwork for my revenge. Vanessa had no idea I was onto her. She continued sneaking around, thinking I was too blind to see. But I was patient. The perfect opportunity was her company's upcoming gala. Everyone important would be there. Executives, investors, employees, and Isaac's wife. If I played my cards right, their affair would be exposed in front of hundreds. Vanessa thought she could live two lives? She thought she could break me without consequences? She was about to find out how wrong she was. The night before the gala, I sat in my dimly lit apartment, my fingers tracing the edge of my whiskey glass. The burn of the liquor didn't even register. I was too focused, too wired. The plan had to be flawless. Vanessa had no idea that I had already laid the groundwork for her destruction. My friend Caleb had come through spectacularly. He managed to hack into Vanessa's phone and extract every sordid conversation she had with Isaac Blackwood. The texts were damning. Vanessa, I can't wait to see you at the gala. Maybe we sneak off somewhere? Isaac, you know I can't resist you, baby. My wife will be there, but she's clueless as always. Vanessa, I love how reckless you are. It turns me on. Isaac, you turn me on more. I clench my jaw. The sheer disrespect. They were playing house behind my back, laughing at me while plotting to humiliate Isaac's own wife. Not on my watch. I dialed another number. Eric. He picked up on the second ring. Aaron, my man. Everything is set. The footage will play on the big screen at the perfect moment. I exhaled slowly. Good? Eric hesitated. You sure about this? This is going to be brutal. I smiled coldly. That's the point. The day of the gala, Vanessa was glowing. She had no idea she was walking into her own funeral. She twirled in front of the mirror in a sleek black dress, her hair styled to perfection. How do I look? She asked, her voice dripping with satisfaction. I forced a smile. You look unforgettable. She grinned, completely oblivious. I knew this was the last time she would ever look at me with such arrogance. After tonight, she wouldn't be able to look at anyone the same way again. The gala was held at an extravagant 5-star hotel, the ballroom shimmering with chandeliers and gold accents. The elites of the corporate world mingled, glasses of champagne in their hands, fake smiles plastered across their faces. I walked in beside Vanessa, my hand resting lightly on her lower back. To everyone else, we looked like the perfect couple. If only they knew. I spotted Isaac across the room, standing beside a woman with delicate features and tired eyes. His wife. She was laughing softly at something someone said, completely unaware that her husband was about to humiliate her in front of everyone. Good. Vanessa's eyes locked onto Isaac's, and I saw the way her lips curved into a sly smile. They thought they were being discreet. They weren't. The speeches began. Vanessa and Isaac stood near the stage, chatting in hushed voices, their excitement barely contained. I pulled out my phone and sent a single text to Eric. Showtime. The lights dimmed. The massive screen behind the stage flickered to life. For the first few seconds, the audience thought they were about to watch a promotional video. Then the text appeared. I can't wait to see you at the gala. You turn me on more. Gasps erupted across the room. Confused whispers spread like wildfire. People turned to each other, murmuring, trying to piece together what they were seeing. And then the video played. Vanessa, Isaac, together. In a dimly lit hotel room, the sheets tangled around them. Their whispered moans amplified in the shocked silence of the ballroom. The air grew thick with tension. Vanessa's entire body stiffened beside me. Isaac's wife screamed. Chaos erupted. Vanessa spun to face me, her face drained of color. Aaron, she whispered, shaking. I met her gaze coldly. You did this, she choked out. No, Vanessa. I tilted my head, my voice deadly soft. You did this. Across the room, Isaac's wife had collapsed onto a chair, sobbing into her hands as their colleagues stared in horror. Isaac looked like he wanted to disappear. Security stepped forward, murmuring about how they needed to clear the screen. But it was too late. The damage was done. Vanessa's career? Over. Isaac's marriage? Ruined. Their reputations? Destroyed. I leaned in close, my voice a whisper against Vanessa's ear. Next time, I murmured, think twice before cheating on a man who has nothing left to lose. I turned and walked away, leaving her to drown in the wreckage. The moment the video ended, Vanessa stood frozen in the middle of the ballroom, her face ashen as the weight of what had just happened crashed down on her. A suffocating silence filled the room, broken only by the murmurs of guests who were now watching her like she was a freak show attraction. Her hands trembled as she reached out, as if trying to physically grasp the situation, to undo what had just happened. Isaac's wife, Lydia, wasn't as silent. "You," she seethed, stepping toward Isaac, her body shaking with fury. How long? How long have you been screwing her behind my back?" Isaac, now pale as a ghost, reached out a hand. "Lydia, let's not do this here." "Oh, don't worry," she spat, her voice sharp as broken glass. "We won't be doing this here. We'll be doing this in court." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Vanessa flinched at the words. Her entire body visibly shook. Isaac turned to her in desperation. "Say something," he hissed under his breath, but Vanessa could barely think. Her gaze snapped to me. Her husband. Her lips parted slightly, eyes pleading. "Please, save me." I didn't. I just tilted my head and smiled. "You did this to yourself." The crowd exploded. Whispers, gasps, murmurs. Vanessa ran. She grabbed the hem of her dress and bolted for the exit, shoving past people, her heels clacking in desperation. But no matter how fast she ran, she couldn't outrun the truth. Vanessa locked herself in a hotel bathroom that night, her breaths ragged. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing. Her boss, her coworkers, her family. And then came the news articles. Top executive caught in scandalous affair, shocking video leaks at gala, cheating wife and corrupt CEO, the affair that destroyed 2 careers, scorned husband's revenge, how he exposed his wife's betrayal to hundreds. Her entire life had been turned into a spectacle. She stared at her reflection. The perfect, polished woman she used to be, gone. Her hands trembled as she tried to call me again. I didn't answer. Her vision blurred with hot, shameful tears. She was alone. Utterly, completely, alone. And the worst part? The fall was just beginning. The next morning, Vanessa walked into work with her head down, sunglasses covering her swollen eyes. She knew people were staring. She could feel it. But when she entered the office, she wasn't prepared for what happened next. Security stopped her at the entrance. Her boss, Mr. Callahan, stepped forward, his expression stone cold. "Vanessa," he said flatly. She swallowed hard. "Sir, He handed her a manila envelope. Termination papers. Her breath caught in her throat. "Effective immediately," he said, "for misconduct and violating corporate policies." Her chest tightened. "Please, I can explain." Mr. Callahan held up a hand. "There's nothing to explain. You humiliated this company. Pack your things. You're done." The office was dead silent. Dozens of people watched from their desks. Some whispered. Others snickered. Tears burned her eyes. Her hands trembled as she grabbed the envelope. She wasn't Vanessa Harper, the powerful executive, anymore. She was a disgrace. And everyone knew it. Isaac Blackwood's downfall was just as swift and brutal. His wife filed for divorce the same day the scandal broke. She took the house, the cars, and full custody of their children. But that wasn't the worst of it. His company's board of directors met behind his back. By the end of the day, he was fired. Blackwood wasn't just a cheater. He was a liability. Isaac tried calling Vanessa, but she was too busy drowning in her own mess. Neither of them could save the other. And I made sure of it. 2 weeks passed. One night, I heard knocking on my apartment door. Soft at first, then louder. Frantic. I opened it to find Vanessa. Her once glossy hair was a mess. Her perfect skin? Pale. Her designer dress? Wrinkled. "Aaron," she whispered. Her voice broke. I said nothing. Tears welled in her eyes. "I lost everything," she choked out. "My job, my friends. No one will even look at me." I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "And?" She swallowed hard. "I made a mistake." I smirked. "You sure did." She stepped closer. Too close. "Can we fix this?" she whispered. "I still love you." I tilted my head. "Oh, you love me?" She nodded desperately. I scoffed. "Funny. I don't remember love being part of the equation when you were screwing another man." A tear slid down her cheek. Slam. I shut the door in her face. And for the first time in months, I felt free. Vanessa had always been a woman who thrived on power. Her career was her entire identity. The high-end offices, the morning lattes, the praise from colleagues, it defined her. Now, Now she woke up in a dingy one-bedroom apartment where the wallpaper peeled off the walls, the air smelled like damp carpet, and the neighbors argued so loudly she couldn't sleep. She had applied to 37 companies since the scandal broke. Every single one rejected her. "We're looking for someone else. The position has been filled. We're going in a different direction." It didn't matter how qualified she was. The moment they recognized her name, the interviews ended. The worst part? Even her old friends had abandoned her. She tried calling them. She tried meeting up for coffee. She even lied to herself, told herself they weren't avoiding her. But deep down, she knew. The moment her name became synonymous with betrayal and scandal, she became a liability, and no one wanted to be associated with the disgrace. If Vanessa thought she had it bad, Isaac Blackwood had it worse. His divorce had gone through at lightning speed. His wife, Lydia, had been merciless. She didn't just take the house. She took the vacation home, the cars, the savings. The most brutal part? She took full custody of their 2 children. Isaac had always been the picture-perfect father. Now, he wasn't allowed within 50 feet of his own kids. And the icing on the cake? His former colleagues wanted nothing to do with him. The moment the video had leaked at the gala, the company had seen an immediate stock drop. No investor wanted to touch a scandal-ridden CEO. So, they cut him loose. No compensation package. No goodbye speech. No second chance. He was erased from the company's history like he had never existed. By the time 3 months passed, Isaac had sold his Rolex collection just to cover rent. The man who once wore Armani suits and drove a custom Bentley? Now he scrolled through Craigslist, looking for any job that would take him. And, just like Vanessa, he found nothing. One evening, Vanessa sat in her dimly lit apartment, staring at her phone. Her hands trembled as she hovered over my contact. She had tried everything. Finding a new job? Impossible. Getting support from friends? Non-existent. Rebuilding her reputation? Laughable. She had only one option left. Me. The man she had betrayed. The man she had mocked. The man she had once told, "I can do whatever I want." With a deep, shaky breath, she pressed call. Ring. She held her breath. Voicemail. She tried again. Straight to voicemail. Tears burned her eyes as she clutched the phone, her nails digging into her palm. She was out of options. For the first time in her pathetic new life, she realized she had no one left. It was raining that night. I was in my apartment, relaxed, a whiskey in my hand, a new life finally unfolding. Then, a knock at the door. I already knew who it was. I took my time, made her wait. Then, finally, I pulled the door open. There she stood, Vanessa, the woman who had once strutted through life like a goddess. Now, she was a wreck. Her clothes were wrinkled, her hair a mess, her face puffy from crying. She looked up at me. "Aaron," she whispered. "Please." I raised an eyebrow. "Please what?" She swallowed hard. "Let me in." For the briefest moment, I considered it. Letting her in, listening to her sob story. But then, I remembered the hotel texts, the smirk she gave me when she walked out the door, the months of betrayal behind my back. And I smiled. "No," I said simply. Her eyes widened. "Aaron." Slam. I shut the door. She didn't move for 5 minutes. Then, I heard her footsteps slowly fade away. And I laughed. She was finally tasting the loneliness she once served me. A week after shutting the door in her face, Vanessa tried one last time. She sent a long, desperate text. "Vanessa, Aaron, please. I know I hurt you. I know I made mistakes. But I've lost everything. I can't find work. I can't even afford my apartment. Please just talk to me." I stared at the screen. Then, I typed, "Aaron, you told me once that you could do whatever you wanted. Aaron, now? So can I." Then I blocked her. And that was the last time I ever heard from Vanessa. Over the next few months, Vanessa's life fully collapsed. She was evicted from her apartment. She had to sell her designer wardrobe just to afford food. She applied to over 100 jobs. None hired her. Her name became a joke in corporate circles. Isaac tried reaching out. She ignored him. He was just as ruined as she was. And me? I moved on. I built a new life. A better life. And every now and then, I'd hear a whisper about Vanessa, how she had disappeared from high society, how she was nothing. And I would smile, because in the end, I won. And she She got exactly what she deserved.